They didn't know who they were messing with.
Just gone live to Dave saying that. Oh, dear me. Right, come on. Why don't you take it away for us?
Go on, Will.
Come on, Dave.
I'll do it. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Disgusting Resilient podcast with myself, Will, and Aidan. All three of us are here. Aidan is Steven Seagal tonight, as Will keeps calling him at the minute. He's just there in the darkness with his secret operator headset on. I've just realized, well, I've got... Hold on, I need to change my source. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Will has just put a picture of Steven Seagal into our Discord chat.
Do you know what it does look like? Sorry, you need to put that.
I hope everyone's doing well. What we're going to talk a bit about tonight is some lists at kind of world, I think. Before we get into that though, let me just check in with the guys and see how they're doing. Will, let me start with you. What's going on?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I haven't done much 40k in the last week since me and Aidan were on live. It's been just sort of very busy with other things. What about yourself, Dave? You know, I know you weren't with us last week. Have you been busy or?
Yeah, it's good. Well, I was obviously at Coventry the week before, and then I just had a week of the first ever half term with the little one because she's her first ever half term from school. So all last week was taken up with that, to be honest. So and yesterday they also did I don't know if our American audiences will mean anything to them, but we call it an inset day here, which is just like an extra training day for teachers. So that also meant on Monday I had her there as well. So that was kind of like cool. We did everything in a week of like going to theme park and cinema and like out to visits and things. And I was like, oh, cool. Now I've got Monday to cover up as well. So had to invent some stuff to do yesterday too. Apart from that, all good.
Okay.
What about you, Aidan?
I am really not feeling very well right now. I'm debating whether I need to go to the toilet and throw up. I'll be honest with you, I'm really not good. But I
don't worry, dude.
I'm existing. So I'm going to let Dave and Will take over most of tonight.
We will carry it.
I have Eric's list, which is the first one to look at in the Discord chat for you guys. So yeah, if I keep disappearing, that's why. So just understand.
Sorry, I'm screenshotting you here to go next to me, Steven Seagal picture. That's what I'm busy doing.
Right. So I'll do a quick check-in with chat. So as always, good to see some of our regulars here. Travis, Ollie, they did it. They made the soy face. You'd love to see it. I'm guessing that, Aidan, that might be something for you. Wimac, hello, fellow Rotten Heroes. Good to see you too. Rug, so your game got cancelled. What were you playing against this evening, or what were you originally scheduled to play? But good, you can catch a stream. Totally right. James Fox, good evening to you. Steimer Gaming, hello. Good to see you in chat. I'm glad your last event went well, and we haven't ignored your email about the request. Will, just to double check if you knew what this was. These guys are a Finnish GT that was basically set up, and we did a kind of a little video for them, and they mailed us to ask if we might want to field a team next year over in Finland as like a bit of a content creator team. Which could be quite fun. So, certainly one we'll discuss at another time. Theo, good to see you. How are you doing? Rug, obviously says hello to you. Dear Legs, good morning. Another DLP breakfast. Yeah, I hope you're eating something good. Aidan, Rug says you're kind of quiet. I know you are going to be quiet anyway, but just in case. And Kairos, what is up? Yeah, how you doing, man? All good.
Nice.
So, Will, what do you think we're going to be looking at tonight then?
Well, obviously, there's a small 40k thing just where some potatoes, who got lucky at events, kind of getting together, and it's kind of like bottom table stuff in it, really.
Yeah, just...
So yeah, we're obviously going to look at worlds where it is, despite my jokes, it is obviously the best of the best. It's people who've won big events, earned golden tickets, and are basically battling it out to be crowned. Because 40k is 40k, it's probably not the best player in the world off this one event, because obviously there's a lot of luck, there's a lot of dice rolls, things like that. But winning this event is like, it's a big deal, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like every game is going to be against people who are 4-1, 5-0 players.
Everyone's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously there's going to be some really spicy matchups. Hopefully, hopefully no drama or no negative drama, but yeah, I think it's going to be a really good event.
Is there any more background maybe to the event, Will, that you can share? Perhaps to people that are, I don't know, new on the tournament scene or aren't really aware of what it really is?
Yeah, of course. So the best way to look at it, so this is like, if we're going to do like a sports analogy, in the UK, this would be like the Champions League.
Right.
I can't really give an American analogy because all the American World Leagues are just in America.
Yeah, but it's probably the equivalent of the World Series or something, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Yes, it's basically like if you've won an event anywhere in the world, you win a golden ticket. And
right.
one of these golden tickets takes you to this event. And obviously you have to pay your own way to get there unless the event you've won is, maybe part funding you. I know there's a couple of large events are doing things like that for their players. But just the fact of even getting there is a big deal. And these players are going to be put in the pods. It starts off like a normal GT. Each pod's its own GT. And then the winner of each pod is going to face off in like a knockout round robin to be crowned for this season, the best of the best, basically. Like I say, it's not the best of the best in the sense because Warhammer is a dice game. I think last year there was a Custodes player won, and obviously he's an incredibly skilled player. I can't remember who it was, but I think there was an exceptional amount of 4+ saves made in a couple of the games to sort of like get him over the line. It was a bit of a, it was one of those sort of things where these things happen. But I mean, do you guys know anyone that's? I mean, obviously Andy QC from former Stonehammer fame is going to be there. So
Ben Jones from Vanguard is going to be there.
Nice. Do you know anyone else who's going to be there?
I was just looking. Yeah, I was just looking at the rest of the list and just having a quick scan through. So I'll talk to my microphone.
Actually, while Dave's looking at the rest of the list, you know what else is really cool about this event? Because this is Andy QS Cohen was there last year. He explained the Grand Narrative event and what the Grand Narrative event does. You have to apply the Grand Narrative event. It's not like this. And apparently a lot of the people there, you're encouraged to determine cosplayers, the army you're playing. And they only want so many people for so many army and things like that.
Okay.
And what they do is they put the so say they'll ally a few actually. Say it's Tyranids, Gene Stealer cults, and they might throw Necrons whatever the story is. And they have a battle against the other ones, and then the outcome of that battle then dictates the writing of the next edition of Warhammer 40k. So say in that pairing, if the Tyranids win,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. So that's really cool.
I had no idea that's what happened.
Yeah, so when I was told, I thought it was really cool. So the narrative events, if you're in between games and like a top player, it's actually really to go and watch because you can kind of watch it and through the working out, get a bit of a sort of like an inkling as to what the next campaign in 11th edition might look like. So yeah, so it could kind of, I don't know if it goes as far as dictating the overall protagonist because I think that's probably based more on a model selling decision. Yeah. But certainly like, within the sort of like the advance of the story, like the little bits of change, the codexes and stuff. Apparently it's all written based on the results of Grand Narrative, which I thought was really cool.
That is actually super cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all until Andy told me.
That's quite wicked. That's quite a clever little thing to kind of throw into the mix.
Yeah, it's decent, isn't it?
Very nice. So I think Aiden's thrown one of this up on screen. I think we'll maybe be led by kind of what Aiden's sharing on here, but I think as people should know, or hopefully will know within the scene. So Derek from who was 40k Dirtbags is there and is taking Taliban Summoners.
Okay, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it is. So just in case Aiden has I don't know, maybe swept, fallen into the void or something, just in case. I have got this list open in BCP as well. So he says, which tab I got it on? Here we go.
There's one thing in the list that instantly puts a smile on my face.
Have you got that list there, Will? Or do you want me to just drop it into the?
It's in the chat already. I think it's.
Awesome.
I'm guessing it's the one. I mean, does it have the plague bus?
No, it's a Lord of Contagion with Fell Harvester. So that's the extra tax one. Then it's a Lord of Virulence with Beckoning Blight. So that's your you can drop demon units wholly within 12 of that model, and then they can be within 6 of your opponent.
Yeah.
So it's quite a powerful one. Then it's 2 Plaguecasters, which I think we're probably right. There probably is going to be a Rhino just a bit further down the list. Rotigus is in there.
Nice.
Then in terms of battle line units, we've got a 5-man unit of Plague Marines. And we've got a 10-man unit of Plague Bearers. We've got another 10-man unit of Plague Bearers. There's your Chaos Rhino. It's definitely in the mix. Then we've got a Beast of Nurgle. Then we've got some Chaos Spawn, just one unit of 2. Then there's 3 Death Shroud Terminators, 3 Death Shroud Terminators. There's a Blight Drone with Spitters. There's 2 Heavy Blight Launcher Drones. Then there's a big unit of 6 Nurglings, a unit of 3 Nurglings, and then 1 unit of 10 Poxies.
I mean, I don't know. I've got to be honest. I'm not a fan of the list. I think there's a few things I wouldn't run, but of course, I'm not. It's easy for me. It's easy for me to say as someone who's never achieved those heady heights. So there's probably some tech in there that I'm not sort of thinking about, and maybe it's also because it's like GW boards. There's maybe also some sort of things taken into there, but there's a few things that. What was your? I mean, you said one of your comments there, Will, was there something immediately that jumps out at you? So what was that?
I mean, why take a unit to Spawn when you could take another Beast of Nurgle? Beast of Nurgle is so much better than Spawn. I understand maybe he had 15 points and he thought, oh, I've got to spend it somewhere. But like the Beast of Nurgle are better than Spawn, and you can get them to give out the contagion quite easily.
So remember the detachment rule, right? Which is that you have to be within 7 of a Death Guard unit has to be within 7 of a Demons unit, and if that happens, then the Demons unit gets Nurgle's Gift, and the Death Guard unit gets +3 inches to its contagion. So I think he's probably got it in there to make sure that he's able to link the units together, to make sure that there's a Death Guard unit in between a Demons unit. Because he's only, if he sticks the Lord of Contagion with 1 unit of Death Shroud, the Lord of Virulence with another unit of Death Shroud, and for example, they start off the board, right? Then you've already got 4 Death Guard units that are not on the table.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be near. But I potentially though, you're right. Like you could use his 80 points somewhere else. I think he's 2,000 points on the nose with it.
I mean, that might be it. I mean, I'd have. If I was taking Taliban, I'd start with 3 Beasts of Nurgle, to be honest. I think the Beasts of Nurgle are the best thing about that detachment by quite some way.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that the Nurglings, I mean, this bringing the 70 unit back is 70 points to 6 man's really good, of course, because you can only do it once, though, is something to be aware of. It's core rules. You can only recycle a unit once, whereas the strat, the way it's written,
it says every time this unit is destroyed, re-add it back at full strength into strategic reserves.
Yeah, but you can do it once. You can only do it once because of a core rule. So I understand
why you need more than 1 unit.
No, it's only once. You can't recycle 1 unit each. You can just do it once. So if you've recycled 1, you can't do it again. I learned that playing against a guard player who, like, when I tried to recycle the second time, they're like, mate, if you got something that overrules the rules, you might end this Catacomb back. And I was like, no. So yeah, I mean, I think it's quite cool. I also question Lord of Virulence and just 2 Blight launchers. I feel like if you're going to go put the Lord of Virulence, I understand he's there to trigger the 6-inch deep strike, but he's only triggering the 6-inch deep strike on Rotigus and some Plague Bearers. I mean,
it's an interesting one.
Derek's such a better player than me. Everything I'm saying is probably like Joe Blogg's average, sitting around the middle tables. So I think as much as I'm looking at this, and there's a few things that are a bit head scratchy to me, that doesn't really mean an awful lot, to be honest with you. I'm being sort of honest about my opinions, but I'm also being honest about why my opinion might be absolutely worthless.
No, I'm kind of with you, because I mean, once again, it's probably indicative of my play style as well, but I feel like this list isn't leaning one way or the other. I think I feel like it's kind of a little bit down the middle of like taking some of everything, and there's like exactly to your point, Will. Derek might absolutely smash it with this list, right? Because he's a good player. But I would go, the whole point for me of this list with Beckoning Blight is the ability to drop like some big demons, like really close to your opponent, so that they're not slogging up the board, getting stuck behind terrain. So I'm very surprised there isn't at least another Great Unclean one in the mix here. And I get what he's looking at. What he can obviously do with this is he can drop a unit of Death Shroud down, and then he can drop using Beckoning Blight on the Lord of Virulence. He can then drop demon units nearby, which triggers then contagion, which, allows all, he can have the Nurglings infiltrated up close. He can move a Death Guard unit near to them, probably spawn, for example. And then as long as he stays within 7 and then pushes closer to his opponent, and then they're in contagion range, he then can drop the Death Shroud 6 away from that unit. So I get I can see how it can play out. I just feel like if this is the only place you can take demons, that to not have a couple of big chungus demons feels like, I don't know, an interesting choice to me.
I remember watching his channel as well. I just noticed something, and he run through this little combo. Maybe Aidan knows off the top of his head what it is about the Icon of Despair in the Plague Marine unit. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it like a leadership buff?
It makes you pass leadership test. If any unit that fails Battle Shock test that is within 12 of that model, you can select it to pass Battle Shock test after you fail it.
I know. So he's on about.
Is there a reason? I remember watching.
Hang on, Aidan. Sorry, you might need to push to talk.
Oh, is it working? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, mate.
2 seconds. It looks like they are fighting.
There we go. We got you.
They were fighting for my attention. The Streamlabs and the YouTube Discord. So he's on about the Icon on the Plague Marines has the 6-inch aura of -1 to battle shock test. So in this attachment, you have the stratagem where when an opponent goes to make a fallback away from a demon unit, you have to take a battle shock test, and if they fail it, they have to remain stationary, which can be actually like game breaking, like at times if you manage to like lock someone in combat. So my guess is that the Plague Marine is going to go in the Rhino. The Rhino's going to be accompanied by either some Nurglings or some Plague Bearers, which are then going to try and make a double charge, and they're going to try and like tag an infantry unit, both of them. So that, and then maybe even like have Death Shroud consolidate into the unit after they've killed something. And then obviously, because the Death Shroud have the Icon as well for -1 leadership. Yeah. So basically, that is try and tag an infantry unit, stop them falling back, and keep yourself safe. Even more important is because obviously in this attachment, not massively one here, doesn't really matter too much in this list, but with the ability to act as if your demon is not in engagement range. If you have like a Rotagus that manages to do it to infantry, they can't fall back. You're then able to pay 1 command point, act as if Rotagus just doesn't exist for a phase, and be able to still shoot your heavy violence drones into combat, which is pretty cool.
That's why I thought the Beast of Nurgle's better. The Beast of Nurgle does that strategy way better because all the splash damage wounds on him, they just get lost.
Yes, they just
like
heal.
Because I do like the Beast. I was running Taliban for a bit. That's what I was. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, I
think
I think you were correct with the Spawn and the Beast. Like, I do think Beasts in general are better, but I think maybe the idea is like have them hold hands and sort of go up together to have like maximum contagion spreading. So we got 2 million playcasts. We got a Plague Bus, which is still funny to me. Like there is a Plague Bus on this list, which is so funny. So happy to see a Plague Bus always. Contagion. I think if you could
probably
spare points, you probably would have gone Lord of Contagion.
I think there's quite a few ways you could get a second Lord of Contagion in this list. That's the thing that's kind of scratching my head.
Yeah, well, the Beast would get you 15.
That would get you 15. I also don't know if the second unit of Nurglings needs to be there, if I'm honest. I don't know what the 3-man unit Nurglings is doing apart from just screening a section of the board.
It could just be screening. It could be trying to just open up space to stop himself getting move blocked so he can have like deeper infiltrating. Like there's play in there. There's a bit of play.
I mean, what you could do is you could swap the. I mean, again, this is something where you could swap the 3 Death Shroud to 3 Blight Lords and the 45 points that you spend doing that if they're just obligatory wounds for the. But then obviously you want the 6-inch on the 6-inch. Actually, so I'm going to take that back. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. He needs a Death Shroud unit because he's got no other melee in this list.
No, he's got Rotagus. Rotagus is pretty
but that's one. Yeah, but that's one place on the board.
The Plague Marines are also a good melee in this because of the 1 CP. So that's the thing that I was running, because in my Taliban list I was running 4 into Plague Marines and just charge them into the same thing that the Beast and Nurgle went in, spend the CP to reroll.
1 plague weapon. There's only 1 heavy plague weapon though, and 1 power fist.
Oh, that's a bit of an odd choice as well. Then, I mean, like I say, I'm sure
it can still do work, but it's not. But I mean, if you took out both the Death Shroud, there's no serious melee threat in this list. Rotagus is one place, but.
Yeah, I guess I do see what you're saying, actually. But then there isn't an awful lot of shooting either. That's the thing. I just feel like it's a lot of stuff, but also a lot of nothing. But then I'm saying this from someone who doesn't understand what the tactic is. Like this list's whole game plan might just be, and this is probably what is the game plan, to kill only what you need to kill and just exist and score points and see if your opponent can score more points. Like,
Yeah, and you can stick
probably the
sticky objectives in 2 places as well.
Having a 5-inch charge from Deep Strike on Plague Bearers is pretty good. Like, especially with flipping objectives and stuff like, because they have +1 to charge. So they Deep Strike 6 away, make a 5-inch charge. That's really good. Like, there is a possibility that if this list gets its 6-inch Deep Strikes off where it wants to, so its contagion range is going to be like the super important thing. Hence why I think it's a beast and a spawn, so you can get them deep into opponent's lines. But if you get it off, you're potentially looking at, like, you put Plague Bearers in reserves, you put Rotagus in reserves. Like, there's 2 6-inch charges, you obviously double dash. There's 4 6-inch charges that can potentially come out of this list. And that can be quite interesting to play around. Like, I've been speaking to Piers Condren, Epstein, who's in our Discord, who's run a similar list, but it's a bit different as well. Basically, it's got a bit more shooting in it. It's got 3 heavy black launch drones, 2 synthetic blight haulers. Doesn't have the beast and the chaos bomb, but it has a lot of poxies as well. Whose basically entire job is to add his 3-inch contagion range onto the top of the detachment 3-inch. So on turn 2, he has a 12-inch contagion range. So if you're in a Rhino, that's 20-inch threat of spreading contagion, up to 26 with an advance, which is pretty big for getting your 6-inch deep strikes where you want.
Yeah, this is the detachment where I thought PBCs would actually make sense for exactly the reasons that you've just said. You can actually get a lot of the board in contagion quite easily in quite early doors. If PBCs come down in points, that's something that might be worth sort of people innovating with at some point. But I think so. Go on. Here's a question for you guys then, because when I'm looking at this, and this is maybe a game for me, when I tried Plague Bearers, I thought they died pretty easily. They didn't kill nothing. The sticky objectives was cute. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just we have a whole detachment for that if that's the game plan. So maybe I'm missing something, but what do we think that the Plague Bearers are doing? So I might say Plague Marines earlier. I meant Plague Bearers. Like
I think it's just going to be. I think you have one unit sort of in the middle to try and tie stuff up and stop things falling back with the Plague Marines and the Death Shroud. And I think one just goes in reserves, just bangs 5-inch charges to flip primary. Because if you have a 5-inch charge from reserves to flip primary points, like that's pretty good because they have speech. Yeah, so I think it's just going to be a primary bully plus tagging units. Like it's 10-man units, quite big, so you can tag multiple things, try and stop fallbacks. So I think that's what the Plague Bearer is going to be doing more than likely. I think.
Then what? 110 points.
Yeah, which is not bad for 10 models.
Yeah, it's good.
That's what I mean, but 110 points. 65 points is a Poxwalker squad, and I think I'd rather have that and then spare points. But again, this is, I feel like we're being quite harsh to this list, but it's probably because we don't get it. And also, we didn't write it, and I think lists like this are probably written with every unit's probably got a very specific thing. It might even been written, because I know a lot of guard lists are like this. When when the average guard player looks at them, they're like, that is a load. What does it kill? And then you see Gustavo and Nassim and people like absolutely wreck face. Do you know what I mean? Just by sort of outplaying their opponents. So maybe this is one of those type lists, and maybe I'm just sort of looking at it from from the wrong angle.
Got a lot of mission play, this list.
Has definitely got a lot of mission play.
It's just, I think you're right. I think looking on the surface of it, rightly or wrongly, it just doesn't look like it can, if it has to, it doesn't look like it can kill its way out of trouble very easily.
I'm going to guess the 3 Nurglings are holding home. So you start one unit of Plague Bearers on the board.
Plague Bearers on the home, yeah.
Home, so it stickies it, and then the Nurglings can just screen it for the rest
That's
of the
what I was thinking.
But then why not just put a unit of Poxwalkers there and just leave them there instead of leaving a 45 unit, having a super slow 110 point unit running up the board at like a snail's pace. Like, I don't know, it's just, there's lots of stuff to me that just seems a bit flawed. Like, it seems like the kind of list, and let's see what his results do. It seems like the kind of list that a top player outplays people with, but at this tournament, I don't think you're going to outplay people with this list. You're going to be going into another top player who's got a better list and is just going to pick this apart. But again,
I worry about
this is a mid-table player talking about a top table, so I might be completely wrong.
Raven Guard could be problematic. I think that's why he's going for this try and stop fallback, because the Raven Guard list is pretty much all melee. So
I feel like Emperor's Children just tear this apart as well. That's the other thing. I think those Plague Bearers are just gone.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to play against Emperor's Children.
Weight of attacks, isn't it?
He doesn't want to play. Yeah, there's a few lists this doesn't want to play, but there's always lists we don't want to play, right?
I mean, but at this event, though, I mean, this again, some of this comes from also speaking on the QC. Andy QC, for example, I know some of the people who are sort of going have just teched for like what is the meta, what is the top list run by the top player. Like forget your sort of your mid-table stuff. Like this is all going to be. Do you know what I mean? There's not going to be any Imperial agents there. Let's put it that way. I'd be surprised if there's even one, unless someone's just gone to absolutely flex. Oh, is there? There we go. But anyway, I feel a bit harsh on that. I feel like this is one of these things where if Derek does really well, because obviously I know he wants to do some collaborative stuff with us, it might be great to get him on and that be the sort of thing where he comes and basically tells us why we were wrong. Be good
to like I said, I don't think it's being wrong. I think we're saying that, like, you know, absolutely in the hands of a solid player, no doubt this can do well. And like you said, there's clearly a plan. There must be a plan behind it. So I don't think it's that we're doubting Derek's ability to better do something with it. But I think you're right. I think looking. Yeah, but this is once again, this reflects the depth of the book. Hopefully that you could go, I would look at building a list into Taliban and it would be utterly different to this. And I would be looking to play that list so differently to this, but that does not mean at all that he's not going to do well with it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like I say, you know, an absolute best of luck to Derek. It's great, you know, that we've got someone representing Death Guard there. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, so I mean, so we got Hans Lieber, who is actually our Discord. So he's taken a list which is hilariously called PBCs are not a 210-point model, and it is Mortarian's Hammer. I've just put it in the Discord for you guys. I might have a quick round two with the throwing up in a second. So I feel better after throwing up the first time. So feel me.
Have you just been drinking all day? Is that what? Because then you just need another one. Like...
that's all it is. It's just alcohol, I'm sure. No, this is what happens when you spend all day staring at spreadsheets of data, and then
they make you sick. Yeah.
But I didn't want to cancel stream or anything. So here we are.
No, mate. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
So it's one of you will talk through this one. So this is Mortarian's Hammer list, and it's kind of going back to the olden days as well, like the classic list. Yeah. So obviously had to make some concessions due to obviously points limits and whatnot. But you know, especially on GW boards, I think this one has potential because we did see Hammer was the best performing at LVO out of the.
Yeah, you got to remember these are all on. Yeah, it's all on GW. So this is it does have a different.
Don't know the pack either, which is hilarious. They keep the pack hidden until after deadline, and then
that's so funny.
Which is the only event in the world that does it, and it only just happens to be the World Championship. So
I thought that was a bit of a silly idea. It feels like the kind of I know it's Mike. Is it Mike Brandt who's still lead it, or is it someone else? I feel like it's a kind of thing where it's like it shows it's like someone who isn't competitively minded trying to run a competitive event, if that makes sense. It felt a bit sort of like it felt a bit like when they do stuff like that, Games Workshop feels like, we don't want our game to be competitive, so we're just deliberately trying to like do it to take fun, and you'll find out on the day, and it's like, but you're running a tournament for this, so you've already made it competitive. It's like pick a lane. That's my feelings on GW doing stuff like that.
Before we jump into this one, I'll read out. Will then you can give initial feedback to it. Just a couple of things in chat. Aidan, there's a lot of people saying hope you feel better. Which is good, but Eric Alcala basically said he basically wasn't able to get to the USA and wasn't able to use his golden ticket, and he was going to run Deathlord's Chosen there. I was like, I would have been so happy to see that. So obviously, a real shame you couldn't get there, but well done for getting a golden ticket. And Axtron has been a member for 9 months, played Marine tier, and it's just his comment with his 9-month membership tier is, So that's what that button does. So next time you can write. Yeah, so next time you can write that one. Just seeing there's one. So a few people making comments about the just Taliban list and what they would be using with it. And then Ollie says to Aidan, get school nurse to give you some strepsils, lad. That'll sort you right out. So right, shall I read this one out, Will, and then you can give it. All right, buddy. So it says, as Aidan said, this is called PBCs are not a 210-point model and 2,000-point list. It's Mortarian's Hammer. So characters-wise, we've got a Lord of Contagion with no enhancements, a Lord of Contagion, no enhancements, a Lord of Virulence, who is the Warlord, who's got Tendrilless emissions, and that is the be within 3 inches of a Death Guard vehicle and have low NOP. Then we've got other data sheets. We have got 3 Death Shroud Terminators. We have got another 3 Death Shroud Terminators. We've got a Fetid Bloat Drone with Spitters, 3 heavy blight launcher drones. Then we've got a 3 haulers as well, all singles. And then we've got double plate burst crawler and double poxwalker 10-man units.
Nice. I mean, it's pretty solid, isn't it? Really, I think it.
Yeah.
Because I've actually been, like I say, like now these things aren't as copy paste. Everyone's winning them. I'm a lot more interested in things like being a Victorum and this. I've been trying to write hammer lists, and I've been sticking to 3 PBCs because it's kind of with teams in mind. But I do find myself often question myself: is it better to have 2, free up the points, and have other stuff? And I think if you're gonna run a 2 PBC list, I think this is bang on. The only thing I would have maybe changed here, and I think this is just that, I would have maybe have dropped one of the Mephitic Blight Haulers for a second bloat drone to push forward and kind of do actions, because I think as much as I like the Blight Haulers, I am finding sometimes a bit underwhelming as soon as they come up a target that isn't a vehicle. But then, of course, I guess sort of killing vehicles is maybe this list.
What they're there for.
Yeah, I think it's a really solid list. Like, I think it's one of these things where, you know, I don't know if Mortarian's Hammer is actually dead and people are just kind of sleeping on it a little bit, like the classic Curse Cultists. Cutting points, everyone mourns, you never see them, and all of a sudden they're back everywhere. And,
they're still back. Yeah.
The new points turn out to still be too cheap.
Yeah, Hans is in the chat, by the way, Mr. Tofu.
Yeah. I just saw. Yeah, I know, man. It's like you clearly wanted need the enhancement, right? Otherwise, you could get the 10 points there, but. Yeah, it's I think it's good. It's a good list for doing it, and I think this will show that to Will, your point, the relevance still of Mortarian's Hammer, regardless of what's happened to it. He still has got 2 PBCs to battle round 1, basically take out a small unit on a home objective, and whilst that's always been the tactic since day 1. That's still absolutely valid to do right now in the game as it stands, and to make your opponent either go, right, in my deployment, I've got to stick a second unit on that point anyway, or I've got to put a tougher unit on that point on my home objective immediately, or I've got to be willing to have something not too far away that I can move backwards to put onto my home objective for turn 2.
Yeah. Do you know what I might have been tempted to do with this? And it'd be really interesting to see, because we've talked about this in previous episodes, how we've kind of started to find the Lord of Contagion and Death Shroud package often sort of like trades down just because it's 280 points and is sometimes hard to find that 280 point unit to sort of kill.
Right.
I found one unattached unit has kind of been quite useful. It would have been really interesting to see, like, if you wanted the 3rd PBC, could drop one of the Lord of Contagions, run run a Death Shroud squad naked, and then drop one of the one of the Blight Haulers, for example. Like, that would have been interesting as well. But I'm sure this list has been tested, and like as much as I'm saying all this, I haven't tested any Mortarian's Hammer stuff. I'm kind of curious to see where it is. I think for teams, it's still got a really good place. It's just kind of working out where it is, and does it have hell brutes and all this stuff. But I think looking at this looks really, really, really solid, like really strong.
There's 9 holes in this list as well.
Yes, there is. 9 holes. I mean, it's interesting because like this is the archetype that got absolutely slammed the most with points in cases, which is it's hard because the choice basically comes to like, do you drop like, they went like 240 points, like do you drop like
I'm just adding it up,
or do you drop like a single PBC? Like, I think 2 still gets the job done for like what you said, what you're wanting to do, especially because you're all contagion stuff. You're a little bit more at the whim of the dice, but like for killing some like scouts and rangers and things like that, like I think it's still good.
2 does the job, yeah.
Yeah, it should still do the job. I think when it comes to, because I was having a bit of back and forth with New Hands on this one, Mr. Toby Bolt, and we were debating between the unled Death Shroud squad on it, but basically came to the conclusion that the if you were to run a bare bones Death Shroud squad, it's a lot more anemic than like a lot of contagions. So it's like, okay, so what does it want to kill? Well, it wants to go then kill the stuff that's clearing the points, but at the same time, isn't that what the PBCs are doing? Like,
they're kind of fighting for the same role.
Yeah, and because they're indirect, they shouldn't really be dying super easily. So in the end, it kind of came down to abusing the mind games a bit more of Mortarian's Hammer, because just the threat of being able to have these guys appear in your backline and stuff like that. Like, another thing we were going back and forth on is Tendril submissions as well, because that thing being 30 points is quite expensive, but there
Yeah.
is something to be said about loan up, and again, giving that more reliability to those HBL drones to get.
It's
really
also the
good.
reroll one. Yeah, the reroll one's a wound, isn't it?
Yeah, it's honestly it's a hard list to sort of like get a point because basically you have to concede something. You either concede on the small engines, you concede on a PBC, or you have to concede a lot on pop.
You lose something important either way.
Yeah. Like I think. Go on.
No, I was going to say I also, because I've been writing this, I do also wonder if you can get away with 2 heavy blight launcher drones in this one because he's still doing work, isn't he, for the PBCs, the Lord of Virulence? Because even though the enhancement, the PBCs have to see the target they're shooting at to get the reroll once to wound, they still get the full. So you can spot something in the middle, the PBCs can stand behind a wall and still get the full rerolls into it. So that was something that I'd also wondered about. But I think Hammer's kind of at that point where, like you were saying, I think it's still very viable. I think everyone's just abandoned it, but I think with a bit of trial and error, something's going to emerge again, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is the build.
Really interesting because you've basically got your 2 units of Poxwalkers, which are going to have to go onto points and hold them for you, and then you've obviously got some vehicle. The plague blast squads are probably going to be sitting in your deployment zone until they're not needed there, and then you're going to be putting drones basically on. And demon engines, should I say? Demon engines are going to be on points if those Poxwalkers disappear for any reason. You're going to be using them for mission play as well, which is kind of tricky with Hammer, especially the points that it's at now. And then obviously the Death Rider are going to be down there to do some killing. So I think if you are running 2-3s, I agree with you. I think you do, especially in this list where they're going to have to be doing more work. You do need the extra killing function of a Lord of Contagion in the mix. His own power to actually go out and do damage, but it's definitely got a lot of shooting, and it's pretty fast in terms of its movement. And then the plague burst crawlers can come out and bully a bit further into the game, and then they will have line of sight onto much more things. They're easy to get cover on, and obviously you've got the nice your strats of things like being able to make for 2CP, being able to make a building and everything within 3 of it in contagion, which is pretty big. But without a tally man, that's 2CP is that's quite a pricey strat.
Yeah, the funny thing is you also get to laugh at Scourges if you go on a Stark Eldar, which I do like about that. Like,
absolutely.
The PBC indirect is, when it comes into play, it is invaluable. So
yep.
I think the 2's the sweet spot, actually, because the problem is there are some matchups where the indirect just doesn't really do anything, like Knights, and then you've spent like 630 points on units that are like not really getting the most out of the rules. Whereas 420 gives you like a bit of a midpoint to sort of be happy with and not overcommit to it, but still have the ability to sort of impact the game with.
I think you're right with the entropies for the same reasons you said. Like Knight's been the prime example. At least it's a very expensive to sort of mediocre last cannons, but at the same time, it means in that matchup they're not useless. Whereas the Spitters. Fair play, the Spitters might be more efficient overall, but like you say, as soon as you come up against Knights, like those PBCs are going to be the saddest.
Yeah, but he's got
210 points.
Yeah,
he's got 3 blight haulers, right? With +1 hit and wound versus vehicles. You can easily put a couple of those in strat or just in reserve. Sorry, should I say, just to kind of bring on and guarantee your shots. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think having the entropies could be there just to maybe finish off something like that. They're going in with first because they're much more reliable. But
yeah,
it's he does have a blow drone with spitters as well to kind of buzz around and kind of spray some bits off. But it's another really interesting list. And as you said, it's going to be good to see another detachment list that everyone's maybe writing off a bit and see how it performs.
Yeah. So,
see with this one before we move to the next, I do have a quick because you've obviously sounds you've been a sort of backwards and forwards and sort of maybe it's been a bit of a soundboard for this season. Did you ever consider carnivores or hell boots? Because I do feel like maybe that's the. Do you know what I mean? Like, does the second Lord of Contagion and Death Shroud make sense to be more two hell boots?
Work on GW terrain because the.
Oh right, okay.
Because the problem is like the perspex to the actual wall is quite deep, so being able to set up into a place where you can walk through a wall and impact something can be quite hard. Like on UKTC, there's actually a few good spots to do that, but not so much on GW. Now, I will say, interesting thing is we have got another list from Oscar Ruiz, who it looks like is an exact copy of Derek's list, so it looks like we've had a bit of communication maybe going on there.
Okay, so but maybe if two top players are getting exactly the
nice.
same thing,
Yeah,
probably
did Derek have a flesh mode?
probably look very stupid, aren't they, afterwards?
Because the only
Say that again, Aidan.
Did Derek have a spitter drone or a mower drone?
Derek had a spitter drone.
So he's got a mower drone. That is the only difference in here.
Wow.
Let
Okay.
me just double check it. Yeah, spitter drone.
Yeah, even as the icon with the bolt gun on the battle light on the plague marine unit.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting.
Okay.
So it looks like it's maybe something that's been discussed, something that's been tested a little bit.
Maybe a bit of tech that's been tried out.
I think Derek's run it on his channel as well, haven't I? I'm sure I've seen a battle report with a list that's very similar to this, if it's not this one. So I don't know if he's either if they've come to it independently and that says, you know, maybe we are just missing something completely. We've just completely missed the point of this list. And like I say, after the event, we're going to look very stupid when they both do really well. Or he's seen it on his channel, or maybe they've collaborated a bit backwards and forth. That would be an interesting thing to.
Yeah, it's identical, isn't it? Right.
So next one we got up is Jamie East, who is running your kind of more stereotypical, what you kind of expect to see, which is interesting because this is the kind of list that Derek sort of pioneered as well. A little bit of changes though. We've got a lot of virulence in here instead of double lot of contagion, but it is the sort of Demon Prince. Do you just want to use sort of run through it for the chat?
Yeah, sure. I'll read out and then just jump in with it. But so yeah, we got VV with 42,000 points. Got a Demon Prince and Nurgle, obviously on foot with Revolting Regeneration. We've got a Lord of Contagion. We've got all the enhancements here. We've got a Lord of Contagion with Furnace of Plagues. Then we've got Lord of Virulence with Demon Weapon of Nurgle. Then we have got the big man himself, Mortarion, is in there. We have got a Tallyman for a bit of CP regen. And then obviously we've got the Demon Prince, which is going to be discounting. Stroke free once a turn. Then we've got a unit Chaos Spawn, just two, obviously, of one unit of two. We've got 3 Deshard Terminators, 3 Deshard Terminators. We've got 3 Heavy Blight Launcher Drones. We've got 2 Mephitic Blight Haulers and 2 units of 10 Poxwalkers.
There is a massive thing missing from this list that I'm guessing you two have both spotted as well. What was the staple in VV which isn't here?
Plague Marines.
Yeah, that's interesting to see. He's opted for more Deshard.
Well, and also he's gone for Mortarion.
Yeah. I
suppose 5 engines as well. No, so Derek's original list was 2 Blight Launcher Drones and then the 10-man Plague Marine brick. So it's like they basically threw the Plague Marines to the wind, which, to be fair, in the current meta, I get. Sorry, my camera's going blurry because I'm sitting in the dark.
I think the Plague Marines. I think they've still got maybe space on WTC's train specifically because of the way that train's laid out and the way the bases are in it. But I am finding as much as they kill nearly anything in the game for 1 CP, they're very rarely trading close to their points, and they just get picked up for half their points in response. So I guess that's like a choice on that. So here's a question for you two then, because I haven't this edition I've not run in once, but I'm starting to get Morty curious, shall we say. Do you think Morty's got a good place in the meta right now, or do you think it's specifically VV where he pairs with the Demon Prince as a sort of it's hard to deal with them both? Or do you think Morty those points could be better spent elsewhere? Because I genuinely don't know, is my, having never ran him.
Go on, Aidan, you go first.
Morty's weird because Morty's a pretty good model. The problem I have with Morty right now is top dog is quite often Eldari's up there, and 10 fire dragons and Fuegan, being able to hop in and out of transport, can make Morty feel like you basically have to have a turn where you bounce 4-ups. That's it. Because you can't step out otherwise. And you obviously can't have Morty just sitting in deployment all game. At some point, you've got to make something happen.
I mean, Raven Guard aren't taking Vindicators, I presume. But
no, they still got
one auto-moment Vindicator picks him up
we've
pretty
got 6
comfortably, I found.
We've got 6 twin linked +1 to wound oath. Last cannons as well on Morty. And it's interesting because Derek's moved away from this because of that. I think also Tau absolutely just blasted Morty last time as well. So I think it could be a case of I think Morty he's a bit feast or famine. He either runs over the game completely or he kind of just gets flattened the second he comes out. So I think it's an interesting one because obviously this has been doing really, really well prior. But then as it came into this meta, we've seen it struggle a little bit. Not so much at London, but it definitely struggled at LVO to do as well. We saw Hammerlist outperform it in general. So I mean, it's still like, don't get me wrong, the plague marines are gone, so that giant brick gives it more ability to play wide, which I think it was sorely lacking. So the ability to do that is pretty good now. So we'll have to see how it goes. Basically the question is going to be, can he lure out the threats to Mortarion with the extra demon engines he's got? Or is it still going to be a case of, let's hope Mortarion spikes his saves on the turn he needs to?
Yeah.
I think there's a really interesting, and I haven't tried this, so and it's matchup dependent on how many units your opponent's got, but Deep Strike Morty is really interesting to me.
Oh, I forgot he's got Deep Strike now.
And so setting that up, I think, could be really interesting in a game. And not just rely on getting him out from behind cover and doing the usual right way to wait for the right turn to kind of make him go. And then with 10 inches movement, is it really working? I think that's an interesting style of play if you can set it up to work, and it certainly won't work in every matchup, but if you're playing something that can swamp the board, then actually you want him on the table anyway to just smash into it. But it's a really interesting one. And also the Morty, I know it's been the staple of VV, but I don't like I personally don't like the Demon Prince Morty combination for 600 points. I think I personally feel it's just too many points in two models.
I mean, yeah, I think that might be true. Like I said,
maybe I feel that more in the current meta.
I wasn't a fan of it when I played it because, again, it just feels like, I feel like it's a lot of times it is basically, you have to kind of hope your opponent has a bounce turn into this list, because if they do bounce into you, the damage output you can do back to them is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
If you don't bounce and one of your Demon Prince or more, he gets picked up. You can kind of deal with one of them getting picked up if you slap back hard enough. But if you have a bad turn of rolling bad and you just lose both of them, I think that can genuinely just be game right there.
I mean, do you know what's we talked at the start of the episode about the gentleman last year did really well with Custodes, partly because a couple of games he rolled ridiculous amounts of 4+ saves, as well as also being an amazing player, of course. This list has that same potential, doesn't it? Yeah. If Morty just doesn't roll anything other than 4+,
if Morty just bounces everything, absolutely. I mean, the one thing I think I will say, looking at all these bits, is I still think, regardless of the lists that are in here, a neutral belt kind of list to go against, having played, and it was on Purge, and my opponent did go first, but the only game I had a game where I got absolutely run over at Coventry was against Eldar Aspect Host. And it just was like, all right, I'm just going to have a go turn and just deleted my army. And I was I'm like, even if I decided to go first, I couldn't have got to you. I couldn't have seen anything. And it was like, Mark was a lovely opponent. And it was on table 13. So it was pretty higher up. And it was the late stage of the game. I think it was game 7 or something. But it was a absolute, he knew exactly that it was going to kill everything that I had on the table. And it absolutely did. Like you say, regardless of things like Fire Dragons and Dark Reapers and all those kind of things on the table, there's a lot that can nuke a couple of your 600 points of your army quite quickly in some lists. But like you say, you have a good turn or your opponent bounces into it and it hits back very, very, very hard.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm really pleased. I want to say though, the reason I dropped in the chat to talk about this one, Jamie, by the way, if you're watching or you do see this, good luck. But secondly, I'm really pleased that Morty is at this event, and once again, another very, very Death Guard list, and I think it's got the capacity to do it. It's got a lot of shooting. It's got some anti-tank with the haulers, the dash out for some good melee. Morty's in there. There's reactive moves. There's Final Death. There's shoot back. In certain areas, he's got the Lord of Virulence for the kind of extra benefits for the blast weapons, and in two places, the Demon Prince and Morty can both do a lot of damage.
It is a good. I mean, it's a solid list in that sense, isn't it? Do you know what it looks like to me? It looks like a Don Hooson list to me in the sense of I'm not going to try and play the mission at all. I'm just going to smash it to pieces, and at the end of the game, I'll win because you've got no army left. There's no OC in it at all. There's no sort of I mean, obviously you've got the Demon Prince can loan up and kind of hold your expansion in that way. But there's no sort of it's not like Derek's list is a complete opposite. It looks like it's just going to outplay people, play for points, and kind of be sort of janky. Whereas this is actually has jank, but it's just also just raw damage.
It's great.
Like you say, if this connects, this is
Yeah,
It's just gonna like
it can move up, and then it can unleash a huge amount of withering firepower that can cripple vehicles. It can like kill elite infantry, and then it can slam into you with 2 lots of Terminators, Mortarion, and a Demon Prince, and like butcher the midboard. And then if sitting on 3 objectives, you've got Poxwalkers that are just behind a ruin somewhere that have infiltrated that haven't been touched, Mortarion and a Demon Prince floating around tying stuff up, and Death Shroud, or Mortarion just goes behind a wall and sits on an objective and is like, cool, okay, come on then. It's
also the classic spawn play as well, isn't it? It's the classic.
Yeah, it's
stick
the
in the
classic
middle
spawn play.
objective, gone first.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Come on, put him in the middle, mate. Let's
put
get
it in the
this
middle,
game
and then
going.
I'm going to come and then I'll come and kill it off. So it's really interesting. And once again, it's another varied list, which is great. That's good that we've looked at a couple of these. And
Is
there's
the French gentleman there who won War
What,
Masters?
Alain?
I know he just won a GT, didn't he? With Death
just
Guard
looking
the other
to
week.
see who else is. So there's a couple of Basile is from France. Is there? Who else is from France? Anyone else? Remy is there. And Johan. Let me have a quick look at the list. See what people have got out. So
we've got
another
on the
VV
subject
list.
of Morty, I do wish Morty had 2 more attacks on his smash. His
It
smash
should just be
is very
7.
sad. His smash is very sad. Like
Oh, well,
if you ever
I'll say
like
that.
mapped it out, like it's average 12 damage.
You say that I haven't.
It doesn't have an invuln. Like you assume you miss one, you don't wound once, and then on his 5 attacks, so 3 go through, assuming that they don't have an invuln. And you on average, 3 plus 1, he does 12 damage. He can't even kill a carnivore. Like it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for Morty in that sense.
I think he should. I think he should still have 7.
Yeah, I also wish that Hammer was vehicles and monsters could move through walls for a CP, so Morty could 1 CP move through a wall. But that's very wishful thinking. That's sort of.
I like it though. I would like it. I mean, I've been the lists I've been recently writing are featuring Mortarion again. I'm trying to get it. I really want to make him work in the list again, because before the points changes, I had my Death Lord's Chosen list I had with him in it. I loved it. Worked so well. And it wasn't a million units. I didn't feel it was like it was kind of too crazy. But yeah, it's been tough to get him into a list. So it'd be nice if
I wrote the other day with 3 PBCs and Morty and Hammer, because like I had the 380 points, and at the end of the list I had 100 points spare. So what other demon engine do I want? And I was like, I just didn't 1 unit of Death Shroud and 1 Lord of Contagion just didn't feel right. And I was like, oh, do you know what? This 100 points and that could become more. And all of a sudden, on paper, it looked right. Like, especially I was thinking you could do little plays with the Lord of Virulence who's lown up, and like if people come close, pull him back behind the wall. But I've never tried it, and it might be completely garbage in reality.
It used to be. I used to use when I was playing him in Death Lord's Chosen, I would start Poxwalkers in front of the wall, mid ruin, like out on the center objective, with Mortarion behind the wall, with 1 tailing back to be within 5, and so like 1 tail, and then basically would go. Your opponent goes, "Oh, cool, easy kill. I've got no prisoners, turn 1 or something," or I'm going to come out and I see that, and then you just hop them back behind the wall, and then your opponent's got this unit just standing out in the open, which you then come out and then kill, and then you're holding the objective on the center. There was, or you go, or you basically start them out. Your opponent moves something up behind the wall, and then you just move them 5 inches forward, and suddenly your Poxwalkers are move blocking them off the middle before they've in their turn. Like it's
that's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool. That kind of tech worked really well, but it's kind of got work in that space. Just looking at some of the other lists, there's quite a lot of Virulent Vectorum in there as well, in a lot of the other lists. So it's looking good.
I think Zito's channel highlighted a couple of champions lists, did he as well? Was there a couple of
I'm just looking at. I mean, there's 23.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's 23 Death Guard players at the event of 410.
Wow. I mean, one thing I also wanted to comment on, I think Death Guard as a faction are in a rough spot at this event. The reason being, we were so high in the meta, all the top players have played us so many times. Now we've lost a lot of our teeth. They still know how to play.
They know how it works.
On our profiles. I don't think they're going to get surprised. Maybe the Taliban list will. Maybe that's maybe that's why those Derek and people are sort of thinking that, because there's rules and interactions there that people aren't used to. But Virulent Vectorium, Hammer, those top players know how to like dissect and get round that. You know, like Hammer, a lot of armies, the counterintuitively, you rush it down, don't you? It's like don't stand on your objective, rush there and get there as quick as you can. As soon as those PBCs are tagged up, you know what I mean? And you know, those top players know that. So I'm very curious to see who.
Yeah, I'm keen to see how it works out. Just wanted a couple of people in chat. So Lockyer has upgraded his membership to a Blight Lord. So thank you very much for supporting the channel. I know Aidan is not on camera right now, but he says, sorry, Aidan, but I have some dumb ideas for lists, and due to having another kid, it's the best I can enjoy this hobby while until I'm allowed to play again. So look, we hope you get back out there soon, and congrats on having another kid. Chuck has been a member. Chuck and Noy's been a member for 12 months at Dashroud tier. So he just put a year of DRP. Hope you're not suffering too much, Aidan. Big love to all you chaps. Back at you, mate. It was really good to see you recently, and thanks for also helping me drag Lee from BT, who's a long-term Tyrannid player, over to our side. He's now a Death Guard player. He did really well at Coventry too. Have you seen any Tempo Deathlords chosen list so far? No, Vincent. That was a comment from Vincent in chat. I don't think there are any. I'm just having to see if there are actually any Deathlords chosen lists at Worlds. I don't think there will be, to be honest, because there's not that many mad people that play at events, except me and a few others. I can't search it by.
Are there any Flyborn host lists there?
That was another comment in the chat. Someone said earlier that Flyblown seems to be Flyblown, and so it was by Dear Legs. He said so far the only list that doesn't seem to pop at all is Flyblown, but Shamble, Rot, and Hammer are for sure being slept on. Yeah, I've written. I have
definitely is.
Yeah, I've written a few. Flyblown lists. But I think I'm like, yeah, okay, it's cool if I go first and I get to Scout 5 and I get to move, and then, I've got Assault enhancement on my 10 Blight Lord brick. Cool, that thing can actually go quite far. But I'm like, the kind of rest of it still doesn't go huge distance, and now the Poxwalkers aren't included, I'm kind of still struggling a little bit to get over that as part of that list. And it's not, and obviously you get stealth against range, obviously ranged only, so you're not quite getting -1. It's a bit greedy, but you're not quite getting -1 in all areas, and then being able to stack -1 save on it, or something else. So to commit to, I love the strats in it though. I will say, I love the idea that having played it, I love doing having the 10 Blight Lord brick shoot its way out of combat, because you change all your weapons to pistol, and then you've got in half range, you get full rerolls to hit, and then you get full rerolls to wound because of the Lord of Virulence. It's like max guaranteed mortal wounds off of combi weapons, and then Reaper autocannons, and it's pretty fun.
I think there is. I mean, I'm sure Derek was championing this as well. This is the Derek episode, this, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure he was on his channel talking about the Oops All Terminator Flyborn, where it's like fit like 40 to 50 Terminator bodies.
You could used to get that many.
Yeah, I think it's more of a teams builder anyway. It's just like, I'm just going to come up the board, and at teams will take out the matchups that are really bad for me, and we'll just put me into stuff that we know can't deal with it. But yeah, I can't get my head around Flyborn, to be honest. But I've never put the table. When I try and write it in the app, I always just run out of points before I've got all the units that I want. Whereas
I will give it another go. I think, and even if it's in a kind of casual kind of setting. The other thing and we're just gonna, I guess we're gonna come to the end of. Towards the end of the episode, the other thing I am finally going to put on the table, even in just a club setting to try it, is because I've never done it with DLC, but is do the max mortal wound output list. But the only thing that isn't in there though, because you just can't make it work, you just don't have enough models, is the PBCs. But what I have got in it is an Abominant and Mortarion. Is you've got 2 auras of 9 inches on 3 ups doing mortal wounds, and a 2 up to Morty if they're in contagion, and Typhus, and the Death Shroud, and it's just it's like the maximum mortal wound output, just to see, like, if you chuck that at somebody as well, if you chuck an Abominant and Mortarion and Death Shroud at people, you're like, can only deal with one of that.
It's an interesting concept, like oops or mortal wounds.
Yeah,
I
and then you
think
get
stuff like
devastating wounds off the Volkite on sixes if you roll any, and then there's some devastating in the Blightlord Terminator brick as well, and you're getting full rerust to wound in it. So it's quite.
Typhus is there as well as he sort of
Typhus
doing
is
the
in there,
sprinkler
yeah,
in the background.
exactly, yeah. So Typhus is in there, so it could be quite funny. I don't know. Well, we're gonna give it a try just put it on the table for fun, really, and see how it goes.
Nice. So I mean, we're probably at the point where I guess sort of wrapping up time. But before we do that, is there any lists that chat want to shout out? Like if the same list comes up more than twice, like is there any like top players that we've missed? Like Liam VSL isn't there running Deathguard. We haven't missed like one of these. Like there's no like super sort of top player who's picked it up unexpectedly that we've looked over by mistake.
I was just looking at these. So there's 23 Death Guard players, and I don't think there's a apart from some of the people we've called out. I mean, I'm looking down the list. I think there's a few people we've said have got some good stuff going on, but I don't think there's no one obvious. I would say like that we've missed out. Who's jumped on Death Guard for it. So yeah, and I think that's pretty good. What I would say before we wrap up, there, Will, is I think we're going to decide to do something nice for the community.
Go on. Tell me more.
So just thought it would be nice, given it's going into the kind of holidays and Black Friday and Christmas period. So what I've done is created a discount code for DRP Store, which will give a 10% off of everything, and it's going to run until the 19th of December. I'm just going to leave it on now. So if you do want to get anything over the Christmas period, and there's no rush, it's not like a 2-week or 1-week thing. There's a code which is DRP Holiday, which you put in the checkout, and I've just put it into the chat. And that will, if you put that code in, it'll give you 10% off anything, no matter the order value. It's not for when you spend over X or anything like that. So. Yeah, and it's going to run all the way up until the 19th of December. So it's kind of should be there.
This is the DRP shirt. I say we're not a team, but if you want to sort of support the channel, then wear it to events. It's very breathable.
Yes.
Everyone's number 7. I don't know if you see the Batman's War Dog Will. You've got the hoodie on as well, haven't you? Maybe show that the camera too.
Yeah. Funny enough, Aidan and I both put the same one on tonight. But yeah, this is the kind of the 14 DRP hoodie, which I've seen a few other people at some events with, which is quite nice. And sorry, we need to interrupt this chat, Will, because Johnny Combo has just become a Blightlord member. Thank you very, very much. So just basically, if you're looking for any way to support the channel, it's just another way to do it. And some of the other ways you can do that are Will's kindly arranged with Element Games. If you decide that you need some models, that if you choose them, there's a link in the description down below. We will receive a slight kickback from any kind of sales you do on that. Just goes to help support the channel. There's like we said, DRP stores where you can pick up merchandise. Baron of Dice make our official channel dice, which are, I know we say it, but they genuinely are lovely. And I've had opponents at Coventry were picking them up and rolling them and being like, these are really, really nice. Can I get some? So I directed them to it. But link to Baron of Dice if you want to get DRP dice. We've got some product at Saltire Games, which are some kind of gaming aids for measuring distances, for contagions, just reminding you what kind of turn you're in, and markers and what signature you're using. Which is all really good. And then finally, Vanguard Tactics, who Aidan and I both play for. You can get coaching from Aidan, booked through Vanguard Tactics. There's a link down below. And if you just want to see some really good battle reports, one which I would say I was in just recently, which is live on there at the minute, which has just come off members, where I played a great game versus Stephen Box and his Custodes, where I played Deathlord's Chosen. So if you are playing, thinking about how Deathlord's Chosen works, there's a game to go and watch, and you can see it in action versus Custodes, which was, and I think that was on GW as well. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, he's going to check those guys out.
7K players when I looked at it yesterday, Dave. I mean,
yeah, it's gone.
You know what it is? You seem to be like the talisman for Vanguard Tactics. Never you're on the channel there, the views go through the roof.
Stephen and I have we have a really good laugh when we play, which is really nice. So and this is their new format. It's a 60-minute like cinematic style. So there's interviews with us in between turns where we talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we think about the card draws. And what I think I'm going to do off the back of that, I'll check with Stephen, it's okay, but is take some clips of some of the moments from that. And whilst I talked very briefly in their video about it, I might talk a bit more in depth about why I decided to move that unit to that place, what its kind of goal was, what I was hoping the outcome would be, kind of more the kind of, I guess, a bit more in-depth strategy from a Death Guard perspective.
I think that's really good. I think sometimes from my point of view, I don't watch many battle reports. I think if you've got 3 hours time,
yeah,
I think you generally play again. Because for me, you have to watch the screen to know what's going on. It's not like something where you can listen in the background. So it sounds like that format might be something where you don't need to follow it. And also is a bit more enticing. The compact time, it's much easier to put an hour aside than 3 hours to watch someone play. So
yeah,
I'm definitely going to have to
you should check it. Honestly, the production value they put into it is so good. It's like it's really nice. It flows really fast. It doesn't feel like you've been watching something for an hour if you do watch it. So, but yeah, look, I think that's all the kind of the plugging we'll kind of do at this point. You know, Aiden's. I'll sign off for Aiden because he's not very well, I'm afraid. So
he's just given he's given an offering to Nurgle. There you go. To call it. He's worshipping at the shrine of Nurgle.
Yeah, he was on the porcelain telephone to Nurgle. So we'll kind of start there. But Will, is there anything you want to say before we jump off?
No, I mean, just because you mentioned Sultai Games, I just wanted to shout out him specifically because I've met him a couple of times now, and he is absolutely one of the nicest guys ever. And also, he gave me, when I saw him last, a sneak preview of his new product, which is going to be DRP branded. Yeah. I did say I would put it on camera and show it to people because it's really clever. I'll do it in the next episode because once you've seen it, it is very it's one of those things where it's like I say, I imagine Peter might want to get the hands on one because I was very impressed when he showed me. I didn't really grasp what it was until he sort of picked it all apart and put it back together, and it was like a transformer. So a measuring transformer. That's what we'll call it. That's not actually a transformer. But anyway, we'll do a shoot there. Hope Aiden feels soon, and then
I'm going to get in bed. I have been sick twice during this stream. I apologize.
We'll log us off so you can actually disconnect Streamlabs from this. But so I'll wrap up then. Thank you everybody for joining in tonight. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us with views on YouTube. If you're watching on demand, please do smash that like button. Drop any comments about the video or anything you might want to see in future. We will be back next Tuesday as well for this kind of content. Sunday will probably be a list review as usual from Blight Surgery. So, Johnny, you have just become a Blight Lord. So if you now go into your Discord, you should now see the channel for Blight Surgery. You can submit lists in there. We'll caveat that we get a huge amount of lists being submitted. So we will do our best to kind of get around to those and have a look.
I think one more thing to shout before we do go. We've talked about it a lot. Very best of luck to everyone who's at Worlds, Derek and everyone else. Derek,
good luck, man. Jamie, good luck.
Anyone who's running Death Guard specifically.
Anyone who's running Death Guard, yeah. Everybody, all 23 of you, smash it. Let's see different lists doing really well at that event. Best of luck, and we might reach out to a couple of you to have a chat later.
And there is one more sentiment that we need to finish. Like and subscribe, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe, and pray for everyone. If you could just pray to Nurgle for Aiden, that would be good. So
it's clearly I'm just developing another blessing of chaos. They're never kind to you at first, but it gives you strength in the long run. It's the test.
Yeah,
you got to pass this is the battle shock test. I've got to pass it. And then I'll grow like a tentacle arm or something.
If you remember from Lords of Silence, Vaux actually says that, he said often the gifts that he was given, he thought were poor gifts to start with, but later on found out how beneficial they were. So I think Aiden is experiencing that right now.
That's all it is.
Cool. Right, guys. Good night. Thank you. Good morning. Whatever you're about to do, if you're off to enjoy your day, have a good one. If you're at the end of the day, thank you for tuning in and watching us. And if you're watching on demand, thanks to you as well. So on that, we'll see you later. Stay rotten, and we will see you next time on the Play Planet. See you later, guys.
And thank you, Johnny Combos. Really appreciate that. The only channel he's ever joined. Thank you so much, mate. Get yourself in the Discord. Make sure you do. All right. See you later, everyone. We'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.
Guys.
Mate, don't worry about it. You could have just not done it. I could have.
Yeah, well done for
go and get.
A fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape. Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. traitors lost to the shadows.